One Piece chapter 1116, it is titled A. In the last chapter, the giant robot from the ancient kingdom is guarding the transponder snail. Vegapunk revealed to the world that the Roger Pirates, they knew the truth the entire time. And in this chapter, we continue to get reactions throughout the world and also a clash that we've been waiting for, as well as a potential reveal about the D clan. Really good stuff in this chapter. But if you guys enjoy regular breakdowns like these, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video. With that away, my name is Potential Unleashed, and let's get into chapter 1117's breakdown. The pirates that are on Hachinosu, they are reacting to the news, and they're talking about if this means that there is a bunch of treasure that is down on the ocean floor, and that they should become friends with mermaids to assist them if that's the case. We also see Cricket and see his reaction after hearing the news, where he says it sounds, well, at least in the scans he says it sounds romantic. However, in the official translation he says this is the stuff of dreams. I wanted to bring up the scans translation because the term romantic, it actually means a sense of adventure, which is why Romance Dawn can be interpreted as the beginning of the great adventure. I love that we see Cricket here because when he was first introduced, he was diving into the water for gold, since he believed that Skypiea was originally not in the sky but on land. And well, as we saw with Skypiea, that was actually true. So if there's islands that have been submerged, there's definitely some treasure down there. And this takes me back to what Bellamy said in chapter 224 about El Dorado and the Emerald City, where those islands that were submerged into the ocean. And is that why we haven't been able to hear any tales from people about actually finding these islands? I also want to mention we see Don Krieg, Gin, and I believe Pearl there at Hachinosu. I didn't bring this up in my review because I actually didn't notice them, but I am glad that we get to see Gin make an appearance after such a long time. We also got to see different marines like Kobe and the rest of the pirates that escaped Hachinosu, which included Kujaku, Prince Gruss, Hibari, Kobe, and Helmeppo. They're all talking about the broadcast and how it'll potentially affect their jobs in the future, because as Garth stated, they are the future of the Marines and they are going to have to change how the system works because of how corrupt the world government is. We also see X-Drake, who appears to still be recovering from fighting in Wano, and after seeing this, those individuals that talked about King and Queen that they were healthy afterwards when fighting against Green Bull, well, they look dumb now because they clearly weren't. I also want to mention that Smoker, he appeared in this chapter, and I have no clue where he's headed, but it was really nice seeing him. And I also want to mention that I believe in 2007, Oda, he talked about Smoker's bike being able to travel on both land and on sea, and we finally get to see it. These Straw Hats, they are ready to set sail. They're just waiting on Zoro and Jinbei. However, Nusjuro, he is about to attack the Thousand Sunny, and this is where Jinbei tosses Zoro towards Nusjuro, and they have a sword clash that appears to be emanating advanced conquerors. After this, Zoro and Nusjuro are sent flying back in the opposite direction, and I love this because anytime we see a combination attack from the Straw Hats, it just shows how close they are and how connected they are. Zoro stated that him and Jinbei will jump on the ship so they can go ahead and set sail now that they have an opening. I do think that it's a possibility that Zoro will have a little bit more of an interaction against Nusjuro, because somebody's going to have to keep him at bay for a little bit, and Zoro, he can always use his clear lance attack to launch onto the ship. But earlier during this clash, Zoro, he called out that there was a Kitetsu blade, and although it's not confirmed, but at this point it basically is, since Nusjuro wouldn't have a blade that's inferior to Zoro. He probably has the Shodai Kitetsu, which would be Kitetsu 1. Zoro has the Sendai Kitetsu, which is Kitetsu 3, and the Nadai Kitetsu was Kitetsu 2, and that was the sword that Luffy had in Wano. This is important because the Shodai Kitetsu is one of the 4 supreme grades that we've seen throughout the series, Roger had one with his sword, Whitebeard, and I believe Mihawk. Those are the only 3 that have been confirmed, and now we see the SHODAI Kitetsu. Now, this point I may make a video about, but I've already kind of touched on it a little bit in a previous YouTube short, but I am glad that Zoro is fighting against an elite swordsman because it hasn't happened in a long time. And in my short, I made a little bit of an error. I forgot that Fujitora existed and that Zoro clashed with him a little bit in Dressrosa, but One Piece is so long, you kind of forget about this stuff. But besides Fujitora, the last elite swordsman that Zoro fought against, I guess you could argue, is Hyozu during Fishman Island, and then before that was Ryuma. So anytime Zoro gets to fight against another swordsman, I just think it's really cool. Bonnie's group is ready to set sail, and we see Luffy, Dory, and Broggy. They are right there about to reach the ship. We see different Navy ships being attacked by the giants, as well as the Vice Admirals. They're fighting back. We see Bluegrass. She is able to put a hole in one of these giant ships, followed by Daw, who lets a giant have it with a barrage of punches, and it appears for them to be knocked down. Luffy also mentioned that Warkery is no longer following them, and that's because Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, and Warkery, they are trying to stop the broadcast, and we see a really fire panel of them about to attack the ancient robot, where Vegapunk starts talking about those with the letter D in their name, and after he says, "Within you there's A," and he gets cut off because Warkery sends the Iron Giant flying. Now, is the Iron Giant done for? Honestly, I have no clue. I'd say it's 50-50, but if he is finished, I will say it's a little bit disappointing, not gonna lie, because how the fluff do you get one-shotted like that? But for now, it appears that the broadcast is done. Now, will it come back? Maybe, because Vegapunk, he is smart, he is cunning. However, I think throughout this arc, we've received a lot of information about the Void Century, and I think that Oda would like to save the rest for maybe when we get to Elbaf and we potentially meet up with Song. During the Reverie, or at least the flashback that we got of the Reverie, we found out that those with D in their name, that it was letters. However, they are enemies of the gods, specifically Imu, the Gorosei, and the other celestial dragons. However, we don't know what the letter stands for. A lot of people have speculated it could mean death, it could mean destruction, it could mean devil. We have no clue. I do think that now that Vegapunk has highlighted the letter D to the world, that it can't be ignored. Remember, I believe it was during Drum Island how Goldie Roger, his name was actually mistakenly thought to be Gold Roger. That could have been the government trying to hide that. And also there's a decent amount of characters like Luffy, like Teach, like Garp, who have that letter in their name, and some that people don't even know, like example Law. So I wonder how the world government, if they're going to keep trying to hide it or if it won't be ignored anymore, especially after this, since Vegapunk said that there's a great one amongst them. Whether or not that's being great or a great evil, who knows, but I'm really excited to see what will be revealed. But that's it for this breakdown. Let me know how you guys feel about this chapter in the comment section below. We don't have a break, or at least we shouldn't, for another 2 weeks, so we got a lot that we can digest, and a lot of new One Piece content will be revealed. But thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. It's on the screen and in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to unleash your potential.